corruption and bribery go on with regard to the Belt and Road.
Capitory and Burkina Faso.
Honestly, the nerve of American officials to be talking about alleged financial corruption going on in other people's countries, like they might just have to intervene. Especially when your own leader's been in office like 2.5 months and he's already perpetrated a generic crypto rug pull scam on his own supporters, followed by one of the most blatant cases of market manipulation in history, which he then bragged about on camera.
He made $2.5 billion today and he made $900 million.
Now they're talking about Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, and well, this is what the accusations are.
Receiving gratuities on the side to the benefit of the ruling elite and not to the populace.
So they're saying he's a corrupt strongman leader who's running the country in a way that benefit the financial elite and not the general population. Oh, hang on a second. So they're saying he's a corrupt strongman leader who's running the country in a way that benefit the financial elite and not the general population. Is there any good evidence of this? Honestly, not much I could find, although there does seem to be quite a lot of evidence to the contrary, in that he's refused his presidential salary and still gets paid the same that he did when he was a soldier, and also has disclosed his net worth, which reportedly comes in at a whopping $128,000. Now, could these numbers be a doctored facade? I guess. I don't know. I don't have an intelligence agency at my disposal. But even if they were, why is it the business of the American government? Where did you get your high horse from? Now, could there be some other reasons why powerful Western interests might want to get rid of Ibrahim Traore? I don't know. It might have something to do with the fact that he's calling for a united African economy with an African currency that could severely weaken the dollar that gains a lot of its value from other countries using it for trade. It might have something to do with the fact that he's rather aggressively expelling the influence of Western economies that have had a colonial stranglehold on Africa for centuries now, and well, we all know how well that's been working for them. Even calling out the French president for France's rather impressively large gold reserves, which are the 4th largest in the world, and quite a lot of which came from Burkina Faso. So if we're going to talk about African wealth being exploited on behalf of financial elites and not the general population of the African countries, maybe you should have a look in some French vaults. Maybe just look around you, because frankly, if you're in the Western world, African wealth is just about everywhere you look.
You now have white people talking about street justice if Carmelo Anthony walks free. But I noticed Casey Anthony is still alive, and we all collectively believe that she killed her 2-year-old baby. John Romano is still alive and kicking, and he shot up a fucking school. Well, he did get fucked up with a machete after being freed, so I guess that doesn't count.
Nope, still alive.
George Zimmerman is still walking around breathing, right? You don't see black people instilling street justice on him. Every cop that has killed a black person unarmed is still walking around free, and you don't see any of them getting street justice. But when it comes to Carmelo Anthony walking free, just remember, boy, street justice is a thing. Y'all want to see a black kid dead so bad. The last time I saw this energy from white people, it was for who? O.J. Simpson? People always manage to tell on themselves, because again, the selective outrage is insane. And me personally, I would prefer that y'all just admit that y'all do not care about due process for people of color. Oh wait.
During the entirety of the time I interacted with dark occultists, they referred to the police and military only according to these two terms. They called them our dogs and our pets. Nothing else. No other term was ever used. I never heard them say the word police. Ever. Ever. They called them our dogs. And for a long time, I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. It was like, I'm like, what are these people talking about? Our dogs. What dogs? And then I finally made the connection. Whoa, they're talking about the police. They call the police their dogs. And it's not like, yo dog, you know, you're my boy. It's not street lingo. They're calling them animals that are easily made into obeying their commands because they break their will. And they symbolize this by giving them dog tags in the military. This is a perfect representation of how dark occultists see the police. If I drew that, it could not have been any more perfectly represented. I don't know who did it, but whoever drew that knows exactly how dark occultists think about cops. Exactly. Okay? Because they are the puppet masters and these people are their puppets. The military and the police are in this position. And their ego is so strong and their free will is so destroyed that they look at it as a badge of honor to be in this position. As a badge of honor. Now, when you're doing something like that in dark occultism, you know you really have something strong going. Okay? Not only that, these people who the police attack dogs and military attack dogs are oppressing, look at that position as being some kind of a badge of honor. and think it's honorable and virtuous. You're members of a cult. Police and military and those who are supporting them, you are cult members. It doesn't matter whether you don't believe it. It doesn't matter whether you don't think it's true. It doesn't matter whether you can't accept that because your ego is in the way. These are the people who own you. And they think they're legitimate in that ownership. I attended a ritual on Walpurgisnacht in 1997 in Whitehall, Maryland, just south of the Pennsylvania border. And it was in what you might call a mansion or a McMansion, not a high-end mansion, but,
The traits you hate in your child came from you. The things you thought you hid by banishing them to a kid's place find their way to the surface once teenagers come into play. And then it makes sense why they don't listen, because they've been getting ignored, pushed to the side, rebuked for doing the things you modeled right before their eyes. You told them what was right, but showed them what was wrong. Worried about their friends when you was the bad influence all along. The one who taught them the stuff you frown on now. You wanted them to be better than you, but never showed them how. Let them watch the cycle and be mad when they repeat it, pointing fingers. Nobody want to take the blame or be the reason they child not succeeding. But when your seed is not producing, I wonder what you was feeding it. What environment was you keeping it in? How often did you water it and put it in the sun? And if you didn't do that, why would you expect a flower to come? Your green thumb was too busy finding switches to issue discipline instead of getting to the root of the problem within them. Creating a volatile family system, and when it's recycled, you duck the ticket. Avoid the fine, refuse the credit, reassign the blame to the child who came up in your house. And what did you teach them? Not with your mouth, what did your actions show? When it's a lack of growth, is the plant or the farmer held accountable? Did you live the way you hoped for them? Did your expectations for them match your expectations for you? Did you hold yourself to the standard you hold them to? As a parent, I believe it's our responsibility to use our lives to guide our young. Instead, we wait on 18 to relieve us of our shift and run towards the years we feel we missed, but they're gone. Sacrifice for what the next generation might become. And if they become what they always seem, then I think it's time we convene to speak the truth. The traits you hate in them most likely came from you.
Message.
They're not deleting misinformation, they're deleting dissent. And the real conspiracy, believing the people who profit from erasing the evidence. Before you move on to your next dopamine hit, lock in. Here's the truth. Sock puppet accounts, digital ventriloquists, fake faces, fake bios, real agendas. You can spot them. Low followers, high noise, new accounts just before political storms, buys from a stock photo graveyard, talking points copy-pasted like bad homework. Their job? Push narratives, trap dissenters, harvest data, and once you engage, congratulations. You're now a data point on a dashboard you'll never see. How fast does law enforcement operationalize your activity? Minutes, sometimes seconds. Fusion centers, predictive policing, Palantir overlays. They aren't asking if you're a problem, they're scoring how much. Loopholes? Plenty. Buy your data from brokers. Claim terms of service violations. Ship metadata overseas and wash their hands clean. Now, how do tech giants and intelligence agencies share talent? Easy. Stanford, Harvard, Georgetown. Feeding bright minds into both pipelines at once. By 25, they're moderating what you say. By 30, they're coding what you're allowed to know. 3 years at the CIA. Jump to Meta. Consult at Palantir. Same game, different jerseys. It's a family reunion you were never invited to. And then comes shadow banning. Your post, technically there. Your audience, gone. Your trust score, quietly obliterated. Link the wrong site, use the wrong word, or just sound a little too passionate. Into the padded room you go, no reach, no growth, no voice. Meanwhile, the war on language escalates. Platforms use sentiment AI to erase emotions before you even express them. Words that spark dissent, flagged, buried, rewritten. Definitions aren't changed because of truth, they're changed because of narrative control. And if dangerous information leaks out, forget it. Flood the web with noise. Scrub the archives. Deploy friendly fact checks to reframe the crime scene. You're not imagining this. You're seeing the invisible hand steering the currents. Keep your wits about you, head on a swivel, and don't become the low-hanging fruit.
Final delivery.